both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Sunday. This is our first Sunday conversation for 2023. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the community for just showing so much love. As you all know, last week I caught COVID again. You know, I'm always out in the community with the people. I caught COVID again, so I've been down in isolation. Today, our youth team is here to uplift our first show of 2023. You know, as we start 2023 off, there's a number of things that are a concern of mine, the community, that we're going to have to address and take care as community leaders. The village, as they say, it is time for the village to have some conversations. I've been talking with the elders of the community. I've been in meetings while I've been in isolation because y'all know I can't stay away from the work. Even being down, I'm still around finding out there's a lot of concern. A lot of tragedy has taken place in our community from last year. We're starting off this year with a lot of tragedy in the beginning of this year, and it's a lot of work that we're going to have to continue to do as community, continue to have conversations and find ways that we can strengthen mental health, we can strengthen the wealth in our community, and definitely the resources and information to our community folks. So I am excited, looking forward to this 2023. You know, COVID only can hold me for so long. The devil can only hold the bishop down for so long, okay? I will still be in the community, blessing the people, working with my young folk, helping the elders, doing everything that I can to make impact in our community. When we talk about the Black ecosystem, when we talk about the things that we need to do as Black folks, as we celebrate Kwanzaa every day, we're going to make a new pledge this year. We're going to celebrate Kwanzaa all year long, 365 days a year. We're going to continue to find out how can we continue to spend our Black dollars with our Black businesses. How do we continue to build our community? How do we build that generational wealth? And we're going to continue to do our part here to make sure we bring the right folks to come on and educate our community, make sure we bring the right information to our community, and most importantly, get in the community, impact the people, and do the things that we need to do. So y'all have to excuse me today. The bishop voice is running low. I've been going through these COVID symptoms, in and out, headaches, chills, and everything. If I pass out, okay, in the middle of the show, just make sure you call 911. Don't call 311 for this type of stuff, all right? This is real. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce my guy, AR. He's here, co-host. I know y'all saying, where's Tony at? Tony's out handling some business that she need to take care of. We got things going on in these upcoming weeks, but she'll be here shortly. But AR, say welcome
What's
to the
good?
people.
What's
You're back,
good?
brother.
What's good? What's up, people? I know I'm not as good looking as Tony, but I promise that just like Bishop, man, I'm here to support our youth. I'm here to support the community, and anything I can add, even if it's just having an open mind. That's what I come to do today, is just be a source of support and add some value. So I mean, blessings, man. Happy New Year. Even though we like 2 weeks into the year, but Happy New Year, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. So. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Well, I'm happy. It is our first show for the New Year's. So happy New Year's to our both sides of the conversation team, to our youth team. We are kicking this thing off, getting ready. But before we get started, I just want to make sure that because I do have COVID, I just want to make sure that the community know, this COVID is real. There's a new variant that is out. We still got to do our part, community, to safe distance. Please wear a mask when you can. There's a number of resources out there for COVID tests. We have plenty here. If you are a homeowner or you're a person out there in the community need COVID test kits so you can do your test at home, please reach out to us. I have a number of community organizations that are getting COVID test kits out to the community. Again, those numbers are going up across our community, definitely over this winter season. So just be mindful of that. Try to wear your mask and try to save distance. It is real. I've been going through it. Again, this is my third time catching COVID since the COVID pandemic kicked off. I seem to can't get a break, but when you're around the people, you always put yourself at risk. That's what we do. But again, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling stronger today than I did a few days ago. They can't take me out this easy. I'm still going to fight to the end. But just wanted to put that out there. Community, let's do our part. This COVID is still happening in our community. If you haven't been vaccinated or tested, we encourage our community folks, please do, as this COVID is real and it's still happening in our community. It's not over with and out of the woodworks yet. Also, here in the Bay Area, we have a major storm coming in starting tonight into Monday. Community folks, listen up. The entire Bay Area is getting soaked. As you all know, the last couple of weeks, we have been getting slammed with these atmospheric storms. They have been putting down some nice, much-needed rain here in the Bay Area. But with that much-needed rain, emergency management folks are running wild. We having mudslides, flooding, things of that nature. There's a number of places where you could go get sandbags. If you live in flat areas or areas where water will pool up, please make sure you get to one of the sandbag locations, and we'll be putting that information out to the community. We got hit pretty hard here in San Francisco and Oakland, and they predicting this next storm that's coming in the next couple of days are going to be just as powerful as the ones we experienced over the last 72 hours. So community folks, check on your elders, check on your loved ones, especially folks who have medication. A lot of downfalling trees have knocked out power. There's about 350,000 folks here in California that are still out of power, and we know our elders and folks who need their medication. That could be sometimes unfortunate undeal, and we want to make sure that we connect with those folks. Please check on your loved ones, make sure that their medicines are staying cool and that they have access to power if they need access, that they get the support. Please call 311 for any non-emergency things. Our mayor have already stepped out and let community know we don't want to flood the 911 lines up as real emergencies can be taking place. Anything that's non-life threatening, please call 311. If you have flooded areas or if you have power outages or you need some kind of support that's not immediate, please reach out and call 311 for the folks in the city. Across the Bay Area, there's a different non-emergency numbers that our community folks should be using. Please use those. There's a number of online measures that you can use, not only in San Francisco, but at different cities and counties to reach out for support if you need aid. Make sure that you do that. Get your name on the list. If you have elders that need to be watched out for, please put them on the list so that people can go around as these storms are going to be coming in hard. And once it starts raining and coming down, it is hard to get those support services to our elders in the community. It is going to be a cold night. Please make sure y'all put y'all pets inside. We don't want any pets dying. It will be some chilling temperatures out there. The snowpack is crazy in the Sierras. But again, we need that. We have been in a drought so long here in California. It's great to see all of that rain. Much needed stuff. But with that being said, it's back to work, okay? 2023, back to work. This past Friday, Shaman Walton was sworn in as the board supervisor. A number of our elected officials have been sworn in. I know the mayor of Oakland, different folks are being sworn in. Okay, the party is over. Okay, New Year's is over. The bottles have popped. Christmas is gone. All of our elected officials, our teachers, our people in the community, it is time to get back to work. Okay, our people need support. Our people need resources. Our people need community organizations and leaders to get back to business and make sure that those resources and supports get to the community. Again, we had a great holiday season. We was able to make great impact. A number of community organizations, the Dreamkeeper Initiative was also so impactful on families this holiday season. Just want to give a huge shout out to all of the community organizations that came together, made sure families in need had toys, had things, and support resources. It was just great to see all of the organizations doing their part to make sure our communities were impacted. And we did our part here at both sides of the conversation, making sure that we impacted our unhoused folks and families that needed support, made sure our young folks got toys, and most importantly, our elders in the community have been loved and touched on. More work is needed. And again, we are excited to be a part of the movement, and we will be there as soon as I get out of this quarantine, this so-called quarantine jail that I'm in. I'll be back with the people making impact. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead, bring up our youth team leaders so they could go ahead and get into today's news update. Community, what's going on. I know the events is a little bit low today as everybody's starting to get ready to plan and get back to work. We'll have more and we'll be getting them out to the community. So I'll bring up Nia, Devin, and Deja for today community announcements and some of the news.
Hi everyone, I'm Nia.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Devin. We're back. It's the new year. Let's get into it.
So I'm going to start with the world announcements. So the next round of heavy rain has moved into Northern California and will continue during the day on Sunday. But the Fox Forecast Center is tracking another series of atmospheric river storms that will bring several more inches of rain and damaging wind to the Golden State this week. A 6-year-old student at a Virginia elementary school shot and injured a teacher Friday, according to authorities who provided more information about the shooting and the condition of the teacher on Saturday. Police say the violence was not accidental, as questions swirled about what will happen to the student. Experts say it is rare that a child so young will be accused of intentionally shooting someone. President Joe Biden has landed in El Paso, where he is visiting the U.S.-Mexico border for the first time since taking office in the White House. Similar to the event that occurred on January 6, 2021 in our country, supporters of Brazil's far-right former president, Jair Bolsonaro, on Sunday invaded the country's Congress, presidential palace, and Supreme Court. U.S. National Football League star Damar Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest on the field during Monday night's primetime game in Ohio, causing an outpouring of grief from fans. Hamlin has had his breathing tube removed and is able to talk, his team said on Friday. And now we'll bring up Deja for the community events.
Hey, y'all. I'm Deja, So I'll be reading the community announcements today, starting with BSOTC and our annual bowling event, Save the Day. It's February 18, 2023 from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Pacifica. This event will be full of fun, networking, community partnership, good food, and a little bit of bowling competition. If interested in partnership, please email info@bsotc.org. The first meeting for 2023 for the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee is tomorrow, January 9th at 5:30. Please be informed that you do need to register online before attending that virtual meeting. NEO's Mental Health Awareness Summit 2023 will be held on January 14th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 4705 3rd Street, San Francisco, California. This summit will have a special guest speaker and an action plan put in place. Peace Parks presents Friday Night Fun every Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hamilton Recreational Center at 1600 Gary Boulevard, San Francisco, California. Saturday Family Fun Day, field trips, sporting events, and much more every second and fourth Saturday. For more information, please email sfrebels1990@gmail.com. The San Francisco Planning Department is currently looking for 12 bright and enthusiastic interns to work full-time with staff on a variety of planning projects this summer from June 5th, 2023 through August 25th, 2023. The application must be submitted online. BSOTC Capacity Building Fundraiser. Visit our GoFundMe page and make a donation today. I'll also be reading the BSOTC announcements. Okay. So BSOTC is in search of volunteers. Our work is inspiring and feels good. We make a difference in the community with tangible results to show it. We are a highly driven group with a positive impact. We do our part in changing the narrative. Not only will you contribute to the community, but you'll also learn a lot and gain knowledge in your field of interest within the organization. We value your input and ideas. Sign up to be a volunteer today. You can make a difference. BSOTC Capacity Building Fundraiser is currently live. Please visit again our GoFundMe page and make a donation today. Support BSOTC while you shop online. Amazon Smile donates 0.5% of your eligible purchases on Amazon to BSOTC. All you need to do is start your shopping at smile.amazon.com and choose BSOTC as your charitable organization, and the donation will be made at no extra cost to you. Go to all of our social media sites for more information and news on how to give back to your community and support BSOTC. Thank you. Now, Devin, for the statistics.
With that being said, we have to get into the stats. Coming into the new year, reflecting on the past and exceeding our goals. So to start it off, 73% of New Year's resolutions are related to money. We're trying to start off the new year with that money. 38.5% of U.S. adults set New Year's resolutions every year. 48% want to exercise more, making it the most popular New Year's resolution. Y'all know everybody's New Year's resolution is going to the gym 3 days out the week minimum. That's why the gym be packed on the first. 23% quit in the first week, and only 36% make it past the first month. 9% successfully keep their New Year's resolutions. So 9% out of the whole population, that's little. 52.6% focus on one New Year's resolution, whereas 47.4% set multiple ones. 59% of young adults ages 18 to 34 have New Year's resolutions, making them the largest age group with New Year's resolutions. People over 55 are 3 to 1 times more likely to have resolutions compared to younger adults. The older ones sometimes become less likely as they begin their New Year's. And with that being said, I'm going to introduce our guests for this conversation, and we're going to start off with Kendall Jackson.
Hey everybody, nice to see y'all again. Happy New Year.
And last but not least, Colleen.
What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. Thank y'all for joining. Let's get into the show.
Well, before we get into the conversation, I'm concerned. 9% of people who set out resolutions completed. That's a terrible number. I don't even know if I want to make a resolution now. I might be part of that 9%. But we got to do it somewhere. We got to start somewhere. I saw all these vision boards all over the internet. Everybody's doing vision boards.
True.
And I don't know if they complete those. So y'all can tell me, do people actually complete those? Or is it just a good social media blog follower type of deal?
I know a couple people that actually complete them, like maybe 2 or 3 at most. But I was curious what y'all's New Year resolutions are. Or if y'all
real quick, what is a vision board? Just so I'm on the same page. I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is. Like, can somebody explain that real quick before we go past that?
Yeah, a vision board is when you it's literally a board of your goals. It's kind of like a manifestation thing. Like, you put your 6-story mansion house, you put your stack of bills that you want, you put the food that you plan on eating, you put the places you want to go vacation. It all depends on your personal type of thing, but it's literally a board of pictures that you can visualize and become that in the coming years.
I actually thought it was the adult crayons, bringing adults back to the pre-K where they using glue and they sticking all these pictures up there. But it's actually pretty cool. But yeah, they just take a bunch of pictures from magazines and things that they want or wherever they see themselves at in the future, and they put it on like a little whiteboard. And I guess each day they check off when they get to this. I don't know. I see people do it all the time, but I never did it. I think I'm gonna make one this year.
I feel like some of these vision boards don't get completed in 1 year. Sometimes it takes a few years for you to finally get to that goal that you've been trying since 2019,
Yeah, it might work though. I've heard a few that it's if you put something in your mind every day, you keep looking at it. It's just always in your conscious. So you might just be able to, I don't know, have more success completing it. You could be more than that 9%, like the stat said.
I saw a TikTok earlier, and it was literally her vision board versus her vision board for 2022 versus what she did in 2022, and she did everything. She almost took pictures like that were exactly like her vision board on purpose so that she could put it together, and they looked like what was on her vision board. So I feel like if you see stuff like that, and you put it together, if it's a visual, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, but can you ask what our New Year's resolution was? John, you said it almost makes you feel like you don't want to make one. I feel like I'm there. Like, I didn't really make one this year. Like, Kendall sent me her list. Nia, Devin, they sent me their list. And I don't know. Like, it's a couple of things I've been saying, like procrastination on my homework and stuff. Like, that's been big. That's been big for a long time. That I've been saying that for years. And I'm still working on it. Going to the gym. I know what I did last year, so I'm not even going to say that this year. I don't know. I just eating healthier. That's really much. It's really like taking care of myself. That's it.
My New Year's resolutions. Usually, okay, I don't really like making New Year's resolutions because I feel like if you are that other 91% who doesn't fall through with your plans, it's just hard. So I don't really like making New Year's resolutions because I feel like it should be yearly things. But I did make some this year, and a couple of them is to just put myself out there more. Like, I've noticed this year I became a lot more of a homebody. I just don't really like interacting with a lot of people no more. But last year, but this year I'm going to try to, step out my comfort zone more. And another one is to become a lot more financially stable because I'm kind of just getting by, and I don't want to get by. I want to, thrive. So
I feel you, Nia. I feel you.
Oh God.
The Gucci store is not going to like you this year, Nia. They're going to be like, no more Gucci dollars. All of the high fashion designer people are going to be upset if you don't spend any money this year.
Gucci, I'll be on Fashion Nova.
I think my New Year's resolution is just to, be happy and just try to live my best life, travel, enjoy myself at the same time as working. So learning how to balance living life, but also working hard at the same time.
I agree with you, Colleen. That's pretty much what mine is to do as well. It's just to focus more on my career wise, but still something that I enjoy. You know what I mean? So just putting time and effort into that. And I need to go to the gym too. So I'm trying to get up in there too a little bit more. I've been going, but it's about being more consistent, more than I have been. And yeah, like you said, but still, because I still want to live my life without just putting my head down and getting to the work. You know what I mean? I want to travel too. I want to eat good. I want to do those things that make the year worth it. So those are my goals too.
That's a big one, Devin. Consistency. Like, you could say this, that, but if you're not consistent with it, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Y'all do it. I can't do the eating good.
I didn't make no New Year's resolution. All I said was that this year I was going to say no more. I'll be a little bit meaner. My heart's too big. I'm going to be a little bit meaner this year. And I'm going to make people understand that I can be mean too. That's my only resolution for this year. I'm being mean this year.
Now I feel that though. It can be hard sometimes to say no. So I feel you.
Kendall, what's yours?
I had kind of 3 columns. I was real real detailed with my resolutions this year, as y'all know.
Hold on. Sorry, she sent me this long old paragraph and she broke them down like into parts for real.
It was in bullet points. Yeah, y'all gonna know. But yeah, it was. I want to be consistent with going to the gym and eating healthy. So we're going to Miami in March. So I need to look right for Miami. So I want to go to the gym every day till March and then make it a lifestyle after that. I'm super serious about that, changing my whole lifestyle, and then get closer to God. That's something that's really important to me this year. I feel like I want to grow my relationship with God. And then my grades, school stuff, making sure my grades are good, making sure I'm out in the community here in New Orleans, making sure I'm involved in the school and all that type of stuff. Those are my 3 columns, and it kind of gets more detailed as I go into everything. But I'm not really a resolution person, and this year I was like, I feel like I need to change something, do something different, make sure that I have people to hold me accountable, and I'm actually very excited for the year. Wouldn't lie to y'all.
I'm holding you accountable, okay, Kendall?
Please,
After
John.
March, I'm checking in. If you're not in the gym
me
every
too.
day, if you go to Miami and forget about the gym, I'm gonna remind you.
If I go to Miami and I look just like how I look right now, you need to yell at me.
Devin, we gotta get out there, okay? We're holding through March.
You really do though. Kendall, she's also vegan for this whole month. She's like doing a little fast.
Yeah, I'm starting to do 2-in-1. I'm starting the year off with a fast so that I can, 1, grow my relationship with God, and 2, kind of change my lifestyle a little bit at a time, even though it's a drastic change and I'm not gonna do this after January is over. It's kind of 2-in-1 for me. I feel like it's starting healthy, and I'm able to. I'm a pray when I get real tempted. I'm at work right now and I work at a restaurant and I'm real tempted. You feel me? So I like it. Obviously.
You gonna do Ramadan, huh? Is that what you're doing? You doing Ramadan this year?
No, sir.
Right.
No, sir. At least they can eat after a certain time.
Go ahead, AR.
That's real.
I think it's a real interesting conversation, right? And me personally, I do not do New Year's resolutions. I haven't done that in years, and I feel like I'll say what I do because I don't want to unintentionally talk about what other people do, right? Like I feel like when you set goals, it's more of a conversation of change, right? It's more of a conversation of change, and so I kind of look at it in my life, right? I have 5-year goals, right? And I have things that I want to accomplish in a year that I'm trying to figure out how to do in 6 months. Right. So I don't really base it on 12-month spans, unless I'm like checking my progress. Right. Like my accountability for me is saying, OK, there's 4 quarters in a year. Where was I at? What did I do last quarter or these last 6 months? Right. Halftime. Right. Versus what I said I was going to do, versus what I wrote down. I feel like New Year's resolution, I feel like it can unintentionally be more emotional. Right. And I don't think that's where the change happens. I don't think the change happens in your emotions. I feel like the change happens where when you ignore what you feel and do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I don't want to take the conversation, too left, but I don't actually do that and I don't believe in it. You know what I mean? I feel like, I heard this quote one time, and I'll end with this. I heard this quote, and basically the guy was saying, in order to become a success, you have to become somebody different. Right. And so for me, it's more about who I have to become to accomplish the things I need to accomplish. Right. If I'm more punctual, if I'm disciplined with my time, if I'm aware that I have to enjoy my life, like Devin was saying, but I also have to put my head down and know how that looks for me. Right. Balance that time. If I'm aware that I can't work too hard and then my health is hella bad and now I'm in a hospital and I'm now missing 6 to 8 months of what I could be doing because I didn't balance right. It's a crazy dance. You feel me? Success is a crazy dance. And, I'll end with this, actually. I commend everybody who's in this conversation, anybody who's watching, anybody in the world who's taking the time to make New Year's resolutions, right? To even have a plan, even have an idea what you want to do with your life. 'Cause a lot of people ain't trying to do nothing. A lot of people just want to, be where they're at. And that's cool if that's what they want to do. You feel me? But there's a lot of stresses and pulling and tugging and sacrificing that come with trying to be more than what you were yesterday. You know what I mean? So much love and respect to everybody, you know, in this chat, you know, everybody watching you, you know, trying to be on something bigger, something better.
Well, I
You
think
deep.
I think this is a good segue, because this is about how to achieve our goals and exceed our New Year's resolution. I think we should definitely open it up to the youth to also talk about our communities. You know, this past Christmas holiday season, you know, we had a mother who took the lives of her 2 young children. We just heard in y'all opening a 6-year-old who shot a teacher, right? We had 2 juveniles in San Francisco shoot and kill a security guard in Japantown. And I was telling you all in the opening, talking to our elders, you know, one of the things that they continue to say is we have a village issue in the Black community. We don't have enough parents. We don't have enough community leaders. We don't have enough grandmothers, mothers, and fathers stepping up to help our young folks. And I know you all are in college doing things, but I think, how do we put these resolutions and goals for our community? Because I think we have to have some real conversations with our community, some of the things that's going on. I know we talked about finances. There's a number of organizations and you know, businesses that are doing massive layoffs right now. You know, they are predicted that we're going to have a recession here soon. I think we already in the recession, but I mean, the finances are going to get tight. How do we tighten up our community? You know, seeing what's going on with our young people. I mean, we talked about gun violence so many times last year, and here it is, a 6-year-old having access to a firearm, shooting a teacher. It's very concerning for me. We have a mother who killed her 1-year-old and 5-year-old during the holiday season. Very concerning, alarming to me. When we talk about mental health, I heard us talking about the gym, but where are we at as a community to start really addressing the mental health in our community and making action on that? So many people are dealing with loss of loved ones, and it's starting to be a big deal. So how do we put together resolutions for our community? How do we put something in place that we measure our community to develop and grow? Because I think that's a part of what we need to be talking about in this resolution, how to achieve that goal. How do we put those measures in place to hold our community folks accountable? All across this nation, we're having problems with mental health violence in our community. So I think that's something that also, as a community mover, how do we move our communities forward, and how do we get the village to really start being a part of some of the things that's impacting our community?
Yeah, that's real. I think one plan of action that we can do is really what we're doing right now and what we've been doing is just having the conversations about the hard topics like gun violence and drugs and sex and all those things that come with it, about how that can impact the community. And it's kind of like just bringing more attention to the people who are in those communities that are affected, and bringing them to the conversation, that they can give their perspective as well. And I think we've been doing it, but we got to continue to do it and do it on a bigger level. But also, I want to say, like, to measure, you asked how can you measure and like track the progress of the resolution within communities. And I don't know, that's kind of a hard question. I guess you can do it with like statistics and stuff, or just interviewing the community or talking to them. I'm not really sure, but I just think that's one plan of action, is kind of just having conversation around it, and more conversation and more call of action.
I think there is community conversations like what we do, but I think for on a personal level, people need to start talking to their peers more, like on a deeper level. They don't really get into the the mushy stuff. They don't want to talk about it. But I think it's important that we have to start. And in regards to mental health, you don't ever know what anyone's going through. So I just think it's important to have those deeper conversations. But with the people around you, people.
So Nia, real quick, I think that was a great point that you brought up about these conversations do get to become so soft. Y'all young peoples, how do we get our adults? I did an interview. I know you guys might have seen it with Virginia Marshall. And we talked about leadership, the elders of the community passing the torch to the young people. how do we get those conversations with the young people, the real conversations, the direct conversations, the uncut conversations? Because I think as parents too in our community, one of the things that we are failing at is really connecting with our young people and having those deep and dope conversations, because we do worry about like how it's coming across. But I think we at a point right now where we got to have some raw conversations. We got to get some parents in our community to really sit down and talk to their teenage little cousins, little brothers, children about this gun violence and about their attitudes and about the things that's going on in our community. And we got to be real accountable, you know, because I think we protect our young people so many times when it's family members and things of that nature. But how do we get our parents to have that difficult conversation with our young people and connect them where y'all will receive that information and be willing to change? I think one of the things that Virginia Marshall talked about was the lack of respect that young people have when they take over positions of leadership or authority. How do y'all feel about that? Because I wanted to give y'all the opportunity to answer that question, because she said young people don't respect the elders when they take over their positions. They don't give them their proper acknowledgement and things of that nature. How do y'all feel about that when y'all transitioning and taking over roles for some of the elders in the community?
I feel like I'm gonna go off topic a little, but I just feel like it comes with realization. They have to realize that they sons and daughters, like what they're enabling, or even if they're not enabling it, but like by their environment, but what they're enabling is gonna result in death or jail. They have to realize that you could really lose your son, and now you crying for justice, but you weren't crying for justice when you knew your son was out there toting guns and robbing people. Like, they have to be on both sides. They just have to realize the consequences and really, you know, accept that my son could really die. And then tomorrow, like, you have to think ahead, be smarter, talk to somebody that's not your son, talk to, yeah, like you said, your son, like your nephew, your little cousin, talk to young people in the community, anybody you know, like talk to them, tell them to be smarter about, like, they need to teach them, like, actions, there's a consequence with every action. Like, they have to think about that.
Not only that, but to understand that there's more. I think the things that's putting into our community, especially with the Black community, is that we're seeing a lot of, people emphasizing on, the musicians, rappers, drug dealers, kind of idolizing those type of people because they think that since they have this type of image that they're cool, they get all the girls and things like that. But they also have to understand that you don't have to be a rapper to be cool. I think it should make, people that are in these higher positions, these lawyers, real estate agents, any type of, young people that get into these high positions that you don't usually too much see our type of people in these positions. I think those people should be idolized a lot more and, make it seem like that's more of a cool thing to do, especially since, you're staying clean, you're staying off the streets. And not only that, but you're helping the community in a deeper way than just, putting on youngins onto bad paths and stuff like that. Just understanding that you can be cool and still have, a regular 9-to-5 or chase a different dream than somebody else.
I think that's very powerful. That's why you young folks on here, I'm always proud of you all, because all y'all in college, y'all grew up here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Y'all all working, doing different things, and you giving back to the community. And I think it starts with you all changing that narrative. When young folks, family members see young, productive individuals like you all who speak, articulate, and do the things that you all do, I think this is part of changing the narrative, right? If we want young people to follow leadership, follow young folks who are doing positive things, you all faces and what you all are doing to impact community is very important. So this is a start, and this is why it's so important for the youth to have y'all show to talk about things, because so many elders in the community are always trying to find out, what are our youth thinking? How do they want to be involved? And what's their role in this narrative shift, and how we lead them forward. And I think all of you are great examples of doing that. But I think you all have to be the influencers and the voices of the next generation of young people if we really want to have that peer-to-peer contact. You all giving your life experiences and what you are going through to help move our communities forward. But I see AR jumping off. Go ahead, AR.
Yeah, you see my brain moving around. I think, first of all, everything everybody's saying is true. Like I agree with all of it. like with being somebody, right? I hope I don't get no trouble for this, but like I used to run around with guns. I've been in jail. I got arrested for robberies, and I got kicked out of high school for robbery, right? Like I got arrested at 14, 15, no, 16, 17, caught with guns. My dad didn't found guns, right? So that's my background. So like, and I'm not saying that, I'm only saying that to say that I've come from that place. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm here with y'all. You know what I mean? And the thing that I realize is that parents have to understand where the influence is coming from, right? And parents so badly want to be the influence because technically they should be. They should be, right? And I grew up with both my parents, and I was still out there and my dad is a pastor, right? And I still was out there doing what I was doing, right? So it's not about, it's not so much about the community you grow up in. Sometimes it's genetic, and that's like a whole nother thing, right? But like parents got to understand where the influence is coming from. And unfortunately, right, in our communities, the influences are coming from the artists, right, the entertainers, the athletes, the actors, and the dope boys. And I believe this is the reason, because I don't know if it's true, but I believe it's the reason because when you come from an environment that, you know, doesn't have, you don't look around and see promising results, right? You don't look down the street and there's a lawyer, right? We don't have Uncle Phil in our neighborhood. You know what I mean? Carl Winslow is not our neighbor. You know what I mean? Like I might be kind of older, you know what I mean? But John know what I'm talking about. Like we don't have these influential, successful Black people, you know, families living in our communities who are like, nah, you could come over for dinner and we having game night and we could be a positive influence, another home for you to get another narrative. But what we do have is our phones, right? And TV. And so it's quick and easy for me to see what Moneybagg Yo doing. It's easy for me to see what NBA Youngboy doing, right? And because we aspire to be successful and to be great, is why we make goals, right? We got these New Year's resolutions, right? We aspire to be great. We look at like, wow, these people have the items that I associate with greatness, the items that I associate with success, right? So I think the biggest thing, right, taking it back to you, Kaleem, is we have to like figure out how to communicate these same messages in a way that isn't destructive, right? And really what it comes down to is people need to pick better role models for themselves, because there's a lot of successful people out there, right? Ben Carson is a doctor. He was, running for office, right? Like we have successful Black, men and women who aren't entertainers, who aren't athletes. But unfortunately, as it is today, that's kind of where we gravitate. So it's kind of like, if I know these people I'm trying to communicate think this way, I need to speak their language. Right. And I think that's another thing, right? Parents, I love y'all, right? But another thing that parents do is they want to speak to kids in their language and then be confused as why they don't understand. Like, because I don't come from your generation, right? Our value system is different. Men and women are different. The workforce is different. So I can't stay at this job for 40 years like you did, Pops, and retire and feel like I'm going to be cool. That don't work anymore, right? I want to be an entrepreneur because I have to be, and this country says I'll be better off for it, right? In terms of taxes and making money and having control of my time, right? So I think the biggest thing is like understanding who your kids' influences are, right? And just being able to find ways to kind of combat that with positive influences that kind of look the same way. You know what I mean? Like my pops used to always have me try to listen to Christian rappers growing up. I always thought it was corny, but I respected it because it showed my dad that it showed me that he was trying to communicate with me on my level. He was trying to come to me like, okay, I know my son likes rap music, so I'm going to introduce him to these artists who are more positive, that might have a sound that he likes, because that's how we're influenced. We're influenced through music. We're influenced through movies, media, right? And we influence through these entertainers. And it's even worse now with Instagram, right? I mean, we can see what everybody's doing, so yeah.
AR, one quick question though, because I think you hit on something, but I think also it's a little pushback, because I think we do have role models in the community. I don't think we have as many. So what typically happens in the Black and brown community, we see more of those negative narratives and those images of drug dealers and different things, because that's the more populated amount of people that we see. But I think it is positive folks that are in the community that are doing positive things. Is like you said, how do we get our young folks and people in the community to tune in and check out those people that are doing some amazing things? But I think it's also about empowering our youth. And I think this is why, having this platform and also doing other things to really advance our youth and give them an opportunity to lead, be seen, and be heard is really the change. Because I think it's a lot of youth who have talent, who want to do positive things, but they don't have the platform, the resources, or the access to really put on or showcase what they have for community folks. So I think that's great. I think that's a great point you was hitting on that. But I also think that we do have positive folks that's doing some amazing work in these trenches, but they're just not as relevant as the influencers, as you said. But the social media part is out of this world. So I don't know. We have to figure that out. I think that's the only way we're truly going to get to pushing our community forward. But what do y'all think, Deja and them and Devin?
I think I agree with everything that was said. I think you have to get the youth to weigh you have to get the youth to weigh your options now, because like AR said, your parents had different influences and different circumstances in their generation. So the way that they had to make a living was kind of different. We don't have to necessarily do the same exact things that y'all did. There's like today, I was having a conversation the other day, so being a rapper back then, it might have paid off. Like that was one of the only options that we had. But now being a rapper could potentially get you killed, because that's kind of the trend now that we see is rappers are getting killed for nothing, just for being a rapper. So you have to really weigh your options. Is rapping and risking my life going to be worth this career, or can I go and do like real estate, or is that less of a risk but still high potential to earn and become successful? Or can I be a private chef? Like there's so many different options. Or can you invest? Or can you hoop? There's just so many different options that you can choose. So I think that's a good point to make, is to exposing the youth to those different options and to getting them to literally think and weigh their options. What kind of life do you want? Like even being a doctor it's not the best option for me. I like to have my time for myself personally. But a doctor requires you to give time to other people. So it's just about weighing your options and kind of figuring out what's going to work best for you, I think.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And to piggyback off that, I was having a conversation with my dad, and he grew up single mother household. I'm very thankful to have both my parents in my in my life. And I think with our youth right now, it's more of people are still hollering that we don't have the opportunities, this and that. I feel like it's not about if you have the opportunity or not, it's about what you do with that opportunity. If you choose you come up in a household, you have both your parents, and you still, no offense, AR, you still decide to go out there, be in these streets, sell dope, acting like you have to get it out the mud instead of taking your opportunity and turning it into something greater. It's just, that's like backwards thinking to me. Do something positive with your opportunity.
And I also think that, honestly, at this point, we have to make doing positive things cool. A lot of the time, rapping is cool. Well, there's nothing wrong with rapping, but, that type of lifestyle is what people think is cool right now, So I think that starting with the kids, especially younger than us, that are more easily influenced, positive things need to become cool. It's people that I know that do community service or are out in the community, and they don't even tell nobody because they don't feel like they want to express what they're doing. It's not cool. They don't feel like that's something they want to bring up in conversation. And I think that needs to change. Doing positive things is cool. So I feel like that's another reason why maybe people growing up don't want to go those positive routes, especially as kids, because what they see by the people that they deem are cool or popular or whatever, the celebrities, they're not showcasing those things, even if they're doing it. I just think that the narrative kind of needs to change.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that's why it's so important that what you all do. And, I've been talking to a lot of people and advocating for youth, because it is, a tragedy that in the Black community, especially, we have all kind of resources for kids who are in trouble, right? So like if you're a young person, you get access to resources if you're on probation or parole, or if you get into trouble, right? There's resources. But when we look at young people who are doing positive things, who are maybe on the verge of maybe doing the wrong thing, but are in school on the honors roll, there's not a lot of shine that goes to that. And I think that's why it's so important for you all. You all have your different backgrounds, but you're in school. So it's that positive light. And we got to continue to do both. I know there's probably more young people who are impacted with doing the negative things in our community, but I think also we got to find funding programs and support young people who are doing phenomenal in school, in their community, because I think that is a big part of it, making that cool just as much as the people that are getting in trouble. Because if you grow up in a community and everybody that's acting up, they get access to go to this and they get access for this program, it's like, why do I want to be good? I need to act out and I can get some services. So I think we got to create a balance. I think it's definitely a balancing act that we have to make in our community to make sure that young folks who are doing positive are on the right track, that they get the same highlight, the praise, and access to opportunities, as well as young people who don't. But one quick thing before I pass it on to you, Devin, I wanted to say this. I don't know if y'all watched it this weekend, but Michigan was playing. The Michigan boys basketball was playing. I think it was very powerful to see Juwan Howard coaching his son playing basketball for Michigan. Very powerful stuff. I thought it was just, something when we talk about the narrative, it doesn't matter where you grow up, what type of community is. Dad was an NBA player. But it's just something with that image that needs to be seen across our TVs all the time, of Black men in the community, excuse me, y'all, who are doing amazing things with their children, because so many times Black fathers are not spotlighted on that. And I mean, this weekend, to see the amount of folks who supported the football player and to see the fathers who were acknowledged and the uncles and different folks who came out, I think was very, very powerful. So if you guys get a chance to check out any of the Michigan basketball games, I think that is something very special that's happening down there. The same thing with Deion Sanders and his son. I mean, I just think it's important. Yes, it's sports, but I think it's a start of how we highlight and showcase Black males and their interaction with their children. I think it's something very powerful behind that messaging. But go ahead, Devin. I'm sorry about that.
I actually wanted to say something real quick, but to go back to what Colleen said, like about like influences and stuff, and how like if you're not taking a positive path, I feel like those who aren't taking like the positive path, when you younger, you feel me, like you said you was a pastor's kid, that's not dope. Like that's not cool. Now in college, if you in the family of somebody who own a church, like that's cool. Like your name hold weight, but back then your name didn't hold no weight. So it's like, the people who get looked at like they popular is the ones who out there being bad, cutting up. So of course you might dibble or dabble somewhere to the left, but it's also like some of these rappers, they not getting a lot of light, or they not going viral as much as the ones who are going to jail, like Young Thug and them. But some of them are out here preaching like a 9 to 5 is cool. Babyface Ray just had an interview. He said a 9 to 5 is cool. Being broke isn't. Dying isn't, like going to jail isn't. But like T Grizzly, when he first started rapping, he was still working in a restaurant. Megan, she was going to school. People are still doing things. They just not getting the praise. Like you said, John, they not getting the praise like some of these other people who are doing more negative things. But there are certain rappers and certain influencers who are out here doing positive things with their money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, back to how John had basically said that people support and there's nothing wrong with supporting people, kids that go that wrong path. They obviously need that support. But he was saying that kids that are doing the right thing, that are doing community service, that are out in the field doing what they're supposed to do, doing positive things, need more praise. And I completely agree with that. I honestly think that that's why I appreciate BSOTC so much, because I talk about all the time how you guys support us, and I went out to Atlanta to see see Deja and Savion and everybody, and y'all got us a meal. It's stuff like that, small things that you guys do to help support us. And people ask, well, what do you have to do and you just have to support the community. Really, I feel like you guys uplift us really well, do a good job of making sure we know that we have support, and that honestly helps to keep going. So I was just gonna say that.
And to piggyback back to what AR was saying, we don't grow up with people that look like us that are in these high-paying jobs, these hard positions. I feel like, sometimes you're gonna want to be that for other people. And for me, specifically, I don't have any real estate agents in my family that I know. I don't have anybody that's invested in the real estate. I wanted to become an agent because I wanted to be that person that other kids can look up to and be like, well, damn, I see he look like me. Why can't I do the same? You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be that person that set the example for everybody else instead of waiting for that example to be set upon you in order for you to make that change in your own life. Sometimes you got to be the person that make the change and want to help other people make that change as well. You know, be a role model yourself.
And Kaleem, you know it come with that in our community. When you be the first, then it's the competition, then it's the haters, then it's everybody trying to do what you do, and you got to just embrace it. You got to know that comes with it. You know, when you influencing, when you're trying to be the first and you're trying to make it all make sense, just understand that comes with it, because I think sometimes we don't teach our community that. You know, I met this brother and he was like, yeah, man, I'm doing a podcast, John. The first time meeting this brother. Now, I'm a community leader. He's trying to be a community leader, right? The first thing out of his mouth is, yeah, John, you got some competition. I said, whoa, brother. We ain't got no competition. You know what I'm saying? I said, brother, you help the people, I help the people. You get what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, is no competition. But how do we get the black minds in our community to not think about competition and not how I'm going to do better than you? And it's all about how do we evolve our community? Because that's what I want to see more in 2023. This year, I want to see more black unity. I want to see more black people getting out of the competitive mode and more of how do we unify? How do we uplift each other, right? You could go to any other city. You could have 5 nail shops on the same block. You don't see the Chinese folks out there talking about, hey, man, come to my nail shop. Don't go to their nail shop, right? How do we do that in 2023, right? Because I want to see prosperity. I want to see growth in our community. We got some issues that we got to address, and I think it starts with conversations. I think the action part is the mobilization that we have to do. We're going to have to bring our young folks forward, okay? Elders of the community, listen to me. We're going to have to bring the young people, all right? The young people are going to lead us into the future, okay? We got a mess in Congress. We got a mess across a lot of these political arenas, okay? We can't even get a House Speaker right, okay? We got people doing some terrible things that are really a detriment to our communities and to this country. How do we fix that? And to our young people, how do we get y'all ready to lead? How do we open up to y'all? How do we get y'all to understand this leadership is very serious? How do we pass the torch to y'all and y'all understand you can't fumble this? You have to move forward. You have to progress. How do we get y'all to understand? It's not going to be easy, right? Because the young people sometimes feel like, oh, I got this, right? What happens when you run to that roadblock? What happens when you run into that obstacle? Do you quit? When things aren't good, do you quit? And I think that's a lot of the reserve that some of the elders have, because our young people are so with instant gratification, with instant success, right? How do y'all handle it when things don't go well? When the opportunity you're supposed to have doesn't land your way, when you don't have everything you need, do you quit or do you step and stand? I think that's part of 2023 resolutions that we have to put in place. How do we equip our young people? How do we educate them? How do we give them the civil duties, the understandings that they need? Elders in the community, I'm talking to you. Our young people is ready, but we got to guide them and we got to let them lead. But we got to make sure that they are equipped and they are ready to deal with the transition of power. It's all the way from the Congress, all the way down to our local level. There's a shift that's going to come in the next 8 years. Young people, are you ready? Community, are we committed to pass the torch to our young people? Elders in the pulpit, are you ready to give up the pulpit to the young people? All right, we got to start having these real conversations when we're talking about anger management, managing emotions. How do we have the village conversation when folks are not in agreement, when we can't talk, when we don't like to do business with each other? How are we going to get to the table? I want to know these questions in this year's resolution. I need to know, community. Talk to me. Go on our YouTube, go on our Facebook. Ask the question, how do we move our communities forward? We got our young people on here. Y'all want to hear from the young people. I want to know, how do we work together and fix our communities? We need economical power. We can't change anything without money. All right? So I need to find out how our elders are going to invest in our young people. Young people, how are you going to invest in each other? How are you going to circulate your black dollars back into our community? Those are the real questions we need to ask. Who's going to drag the next person in our community to go see the mental health therapist? Who's going to go talk to the baby father who just got killed? Who's going to talk to grandma who just died? Who's going to help our young people? I want to notice all of our mental health people out there. It's 2023. We need mental health more than ever in our community. Which one of you therapists is going to step up this year in 2023 and open up your doors for our young people who are dealing with stress, anxiety, depression? We got a 6-year-old community who just shot a teacher. If that's not an alarm for you, then we have some other issues that we need to address. We got young people fascinated with firearms more than they find fascinated with their educations. How are we going to get the educators in our community excited about teaching again? How are we going to recruit those Black and culturally appropriate teachers for our community? It's time to have a real conversation, community. We're setting up 2023. We cannot achieve these goals if you're not ready to have that conversation. Community, where are you at? Get in the comments, young people. Let's talk about our future as a community, as a culture, as a village. Is the village ready to have the conversation? That's the real conversation. Village, elders, mothers, fathers, uncles, young people. Are we ready to sit down and have a conversation about each and every one of our roles? What is our duties to make change in our community? Blessing the people is one thing, but having a conversation with the people is another. Where you at on it? Young folks, talk to me, because we got to have a conversation about this in 2023.
Is it our turn, John?
Y'all can have it now.
I feel like, to go back to what you were saying, where you said another, person was telling you that they're doing a podcast and that it's competition. I feel like it's too much competition in our community and not enough collaboration. I feel like, and this is, corny to say, but it needs to be more love and positivity spread between us. When that person come to you and they say, "Oh, you got competition now," you should have, come at them like, "Why got to be competition? Why not? Why can't we sit down on a podcast together, collaborate and make an even better episode instead of, us going back and forth with each other?" Even if we say this in real estate, a lot of Black home buyers don't go to other Black real estate agents for help on home buying because they think that we don't know what we talking about, or we think we just hungry for a check. I know me, I try and spread as much knowledge and try and help as many people just because I genuinely want to see people win, and I want to see people genuinely become homeowners. There gotta be more genuineness in things that we do instead of, looking for the money into things, or looking for, well, if he did this for me, what I got to do for him in return. Why can't it just be, I did this for you just because I straight out the love for it? You know what I mean?
Definitely, Khalid. Reciprocity is what we need in 2023. Who's going to talk about reciprocity in 2023? Let's go, AR.
Like, Khalid, you touched on something that's I was kind of thinking about when you was talking, Bishop. The Bishop. I was thinking, man, you know what? People have to be less concerned. I don't even want to say less concerned, right? Because we all want to be successful, and I don't think that should be like watered down. But like with that, we also have to be conscious of who we're becoming as we're chasing success, because that's where a lot of morals get thrown out, right? A lot of morals get thrown out when you like, it's either him or me. It's either her or me, right? That's when you're not gonna help your neighbor clean. That's when you're thinking about, okay, well, if you do this for me, I got to do this. And because that person's just thinking about winning, right? They're not thinking about building a community. They're not thinking about the village, John, right? So I think the biggest thing is love, but it's self-love. Love yourself first. Love ourselves first, because if we love ourselves, we're going to want what we want for ourselves, for our neighbors, right? I think true Black pride, right? Like I think, and I dare say this, I don't know, I could be wrong, right? But I think Black pride was a real thing, before our time. You know what I mean? Because there was a time, there were circumstances that forced Black people to work together more so, right? And now we do have a lot more opportunities. We do have a lot of liberties, right? And so it's easier to be like, oh, forget them. I'm worried about what I'm doing, and I'm not worried about the person who lived next door to me, even though they look just like me, right? Because we worried about what we could get. We worried about our legacy, what we could create, well, the money we could generate, right? But it got to be about community. It got to be about God and community, right? And however you see that, that's how you see that, right? But it got to be about God and community, the family, right? You can still be a success and take care of and support and influence the community, right? And it's unfortunate though that, you know, at least in the music that I be hearing, I don't really hear that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Because people really don't want to hear that. I mean, kind of, unfortunately. And I think it's important to recognize that people who come to both sides of the conversation, Sunday conversation, right? People who are taking the time to listen and comment, you know, and all of us here, we're amongst the few people who want to actually do something to make a difference, right? And so I think we have to remember that, you know, there are both sides of the conversation, and one side of the conversation are the influencers, and the other side of the conversation are those who are going to be influenced, right? And so we just have to make sure that as those who are trying to change and do better, that we work together, right? Because the question is put out there, right? But we don't feel that way, right? Because we're willing to sit here and talk and chop it up and work together and have those difficult conversations. So we got to remember that the other side of that conversation is for the people who don't naturally want to do that, who don't naturally want to share, who don't naturally want to be supportive, you know what I mean, or collaborative, right? And so, yeah.
But AR, let me ask you this though, because I think this is a problem when we talk about winning.
Okay.
How do we as a Black community make winning about community? Because you said it, too many people in our community is about self, right?
Right.
Most of these artists is like, I'm trying to get big. I'm trying to get 40, 50, 100K likes. I'm trying to do this.
It's values,
We're
John.
losing in our community because of that mindset. How in 2023 do we make winning equal to community, us? And it might be those small wins, but I think that's where we got to change the conversation, because winning is all of us. If I'm the only one that wins, I got all these people who looking at me like, what's up, bro? You eating? I'm not, right? So how do we make it where everybody eats? Because if I'm eating and you eating, that's less likely you're going to look at me and say, oh, I need to do something, right? You're going to be like, nah, I'm eating, we're going to continue to eat, we're going to bring more people to eat, it's going to go up. But if we keep the mindset of winning is self-winning, it's going to hold our community back.
I agree, and I think it's the value system, right? If let's say hypothetically, right, your value system is clearly like, if I'm winning and you winning, then that's really winning, right? And hypothetically speaking, let's just say my mindset is like, well, if I'm winning, that's winning, right? Because I got to take care of myself. The shift has to be in my mindset. The shift has to be that, okay, winning is my neighbor. If their electricity goes out, I can help them. Right. Winning is like, I'm a welder, right? Winning is I could use my trade now to help my community. You know, if I need to repair stuff in the community, they don't have to hire somebody who's going to overprice them for something I could do simply, right? Winning is I think it's the value system. It's really the value system as a community. We have to develop a value system that isn't about self, right? It's about everybody.
Not only that, but I feel like people have to realize it takes a community to be successful, even if you are doing it yourself. All these rappers, they not just becoming successful because they out here rapping. It's we the people that's listening to their music. If it's not for us, you wouldn't be successful at the end of the day. So even if you are sitting down there by yourself doing most of the work, it's the community at the end of the day that's helping you become successful. The people that's, you know, supporting you at the end of the day, the people that's buying your product, the people that's listening to your music. It's people that's helping you that might not directly think they helping you, or you may not think they directly helping you, but in some shape or form, they are helping you. And it's a lot of people that need to understand that.
Yeah, I think, Khalim, you're right. I think part of the music too is Black folks, we make money off other Black folks from our pain and our trauma. So the reason why these rappers get so much attention to this negative rap, because everybody like, well, they say all this negative stuff, why they get so much influence? Because that's how much pain and trauma is in our community. And in essence, we're paying to hear this trauma, because a lot of us, we go through it, right? It is, I don't experience this because I feel like it's just me. But when I hear this rapper and I hear 30,000 other people going through this, feeling this, and they passionate about it, that just goes and reminds us of how much hurt is in our community. And this is why I'm saying the mental health is so important, because when I listen to these lyrics and we talking about the violence, the guns, the drugs, the money, the this, and everybody's relating to it, the pain, the hurt. It's telling me that we got a lot of people in our community that's hurting. So we're paying a small fee to trauma bond in a sense, because it's more trauma bonding than it is anything, right? Because we relate to these artists because something that they're saying on top of the beat is connecting us to the music. So that is the question that we have to ask ourselves, our young people. What is it about this artist and this music that's connecting you? Right? Because I hear the young people all the time say, "Oh, that was real. That was some real shit." That's they say it was some real shit. What you talking about? That's some crazy stuff, right? But to them, it was real because it was something that they talked about their pain within what they were going through in the community. Whether you talk about the relationships, you talk about the guns, the shooting, the loss of loved ones, and all of that pain. So I think we really got to figure out, how do we find those measures to really achieve our rappers to really not, because that's why a lot of these rappers, they fade out, right? Some of these rappers, they start off their first album be a hit because it's real gutter, it's real raw, it's real, what they're going through in life. And then it gets corporate, you know what I mean? Because now they're not living that life no more. Now they're not living in the hood. Now they getting access to more information. So their music start to change. And then some people, they like fall off and they can't follow them no more. So how do we, as they evolve, how do we take the messages of them evolving that we evolve in our life? But we got to get out of the self, because it's then like, hey, I made it out the hood. I'm making money. What about y'all? Now I'm looking down on y'all and everybody's sitting there going, hey, well, I need to get out the situation, but I don't have the rapping talent, or I don't have access to the information that you have. How do we make it plain and simple that we transfer information to impact our community? I think that's where we gotta look at that.
I think that's why it's good that we have rappers like La Russell and Larry June and people and Stunna too. But I said La Russell for a reason, because the way that he's doing it is he's allowing the community and people who support him to gain what's the term, a royalty from listening to his music. So they're still gonna be they're able to invest in his success, and his success is positive, leaving a positive message. So I think it's important to acknowledge those rappers, and for those who don't know who they are, La Russell, Larry June, Stunna too.
Not only that, but you got a lot of rappers that's able to make it out the hood or making it out the hood, but then still staying in the hood, still doing the same hood stuff, not changing their ways. And people is like, well, he balling out here and he's still in the hood. Well, I ain't got to go nowhere. And people think, you being a cop out by taking yourself out that environment and trying to elevate yourself and trying to take your lifestyle into a different area. Why should the listeners think different of you just because you leveled up and you bought your house outside of the hood, you in the suburbs now, but you're still rapping about the same stuff. You still came from the same experience. Ain't nothing really changed.
I agree to an extent though, because I feel you on that. Like, it's kind of like which one of the Migos passed away?
Takeoff.
Yeah. It's kind of like him putting himself back in that same environment, and that there's risks that come with doing that such a thing. But to push back, I think it's also important to kind of, because back in the day, the hood used to support the hood, and that's that's how you grow. So sometimes when you leave the hood, you just leaving your hood high and dry, and that's why people feel regret, or they feel jealousy and all those type of emotions, which make them want to get revenge or just negative things. But I think sometimes it's about reinvesting in your hood to support your hood and to basically just promote better for your hood and not necessarily leaving.
Nah, you ain't gotta lie. I ain't talking about just leaving your hood behind. I mean, of course, you trying to elevate, you bring that positive energy back into your hood and try and help everybody else elevate. Just because you ain't living on the same block don't mean you can't come back and still help everybody.
I agree. I think you gotta go because you're putting yourself at risk. Who just died? Young Slowby. Where he go? He moved to Manteca. That's not far. I'm not saying he was asking to die, because he wasn't, but it was just too close and you too deep to just be still there. And also, collaborating, how you guys were talking about that. The Bay Area, they're just so stuck in their ways. Out here in Atlanta, everybody wants to make a song with everybody. they're gonna put their pride aside or whatever they got going, because like, and they're gonna get there. They're all going for the same goal, so they're gonna try to get there. In the Bay, y'all making songs with y'all partners. Y'all got the same friends. Y'all got the same views. You're not really reaching out to a different crowd, so you're not really gonna get anywhere. If they put their problems aside, and would somebody from San Francisco would make a song with somebody else from somewhere else, even if y'all may not get along all the way, you'll grow. You'll reach somewhere that you weren't at before.
And Devin, thank you for the LaRussell mention, because I am going to be trying to get LaRussell and a couple of the local Bay Area rappers to come on. I just found out about his music about a month ago. So, I mean, the brother's pretty dope. I kind of like LaRussell now. My new Vallejo artist, I've been really watching him. So shout out to LaRussell, because I have been listening to his albums, and he do be spitting some positivity. You know, I mean, rap is rap, but he do be giving out some knowledge in his music, and I like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, my bad. Well, can we take it back to our New Year's resolutions? Like, most of the resolutions have to do with money or saving money. And one of the questions were, do Black families put their kids or teach their kids how to be financially stable? Do they put them in a good fiscal area,
Most of them don't. We did a terrible job as Black people in the community. I remember when people back in the days used to put the cable bill in their kids' names, setting them up with debt before they even could get older. I think we are now transitioning into, and hopefully in 2023, as we continue to do our part to educate our community with financial literacy presentations. And I think the work that is happening around the community, the investment of financial literacy, I'm hoping that in 2023 and moving forward, financial literacy will be a part of our community. And I think our Black families are doing a tremendous job now over the past year, and this year is really focusing on evaluating their finances and making sure that they are using generational wealth for community. I've seen a Black mother on TikTok who gifted her young children houses and things that I think the more TikToks and more videos we have parents doing that type of thing, I think is going to cause a massive, chain and reaction of generational wealth. And I think that's why this year I'm so focused on the unity part, making sure that we are investing in each other and that we get the correct information as we receive these fundings and funds, that we invest in our future so that we do leave generational wealth to our young people, Deja. So I think that's a very great question. I know in the past our families didn't do a very intentional job of making sure we have financial literacy and generational wealth. But what I'm seeing now from community organizations, the commitment from cities and counties, banks to invest in our communities when it comes to financial literacy and making sure that families and community understand what they need to be doing with money and investment. I think we've seen the biggest leap in the last 100 years of the stock market of Black investors. So Black investors in America is growing. So I think Black folks are really catching up to the trend of stocks, invested, and making sure that they're building generational wealth. And I'm hoping that this year in 2023, more and more of our young people will take those models of debt-free and saving and making sure that they're doing the right things to build generational wealth for not only their self, but therefore coming families as well. So I think that's a great question. Nia, go ahead.
Well, I had something to say a couple questions ago, but I just wanted to piggyback off of what Colleen and AR was saying, but they pretty much said it for me. Everything starts with you. Everything starts with self-love. It's a lot of people who don't like to see people doing better than them, and that goes for friends, people you see on the internet, anywhere. They don't like to see it. They don't like. If I have a job, this is an example. If I have a good job, and they're hiring people, and I don't want to put my friends on, that's just inner hatred to me. And it's because you put your friends on, and what if they start doing better than you? So that's what we have to work on as a community. Just more self-love.
Not only that, but I feel like if you see somebody that's doing good, doing good with their life, why should you be envious? Why should that not want to motivate you to do good in your own life? Why you gotta hate on the next person instead of taking that and using that as motivation?
Agreed. And especially with finances, I kind of want to bring it back to the question Deja asked, but like ways to promote financial stability and generational wealth. I think I saw this in the video too, but I've been saying this before the video, that everyone should get life insurance, and that would greatly promote generational wealth in our communities.
Life insurance and ownership in any level, real estate, any level, ownership is huge, because if you don't own nothing, you ain't got too much power over anything. And back to what John also said, financial literacy wasn't something that was taught in our community for the longest. This is something that's new to all of us at the end of the day, because we didn't have access to a lot of this stuff. So now I think it's on not only the parents, but the kids that are able to understand these financial, books, study up and understand and educate yourself at the end of the day. If you don't got a parent that don't got the best financial situation right now, and you understand that, you want to, take it upon yourself to be different, you gotta learn, read up, research those type of things to change your environment. Because this is, like I said, this is new to us.
And y'all don't have to go far. All you have to do is go to Both Sides of the Conversation YouTube channel, look up our education on Thursday. There's plenty of financial literacy classes that we've had our folks put on. So I don't want to hear the excuse in 2023. I think that's the first thing on my list. I'm creating my New Year's resolution right now. We got to eliminate the excuses in our community. There are resources. Okay, go to our YouTube channel, look under our Educational Thursday. If you missed anything, if you new and you just tuning in, we got some phenomenal presentations on financial literacy, life insurance, retirement. That's another conversation we got to have. We got so many of our elders who are retiring and don't have enough money to retire. So the conversations are still going to happen, but we got some phenomenal videos you could go back and check on it while y'all showing the love. The community that's watching, don't you just love how intelligent our young folks are here today? We talking about real estate, investments, and they all caught up with it. Don't tell me our young people ain't smart. Go ahead, AR. I see you coming on, brother. Go
ahead. Man, hey, reading this book right here is called The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm in the process of reading it. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I read other books, man. I'm big on reading, man. My pops. I see, you see what I'm talking about?
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about, though?
We're changing the narrative today. Young black people reading books, okay?
Oh God, I was gonna pull up my book too.
Look at my black folks.
What book you got, Devin?
I got Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's by Steve Harvey.
Okay, yeah, Think and Grow. Yep, and then Think and Grow Rich. I heard about. I haven't read that one yet.
This gonna change your thinking, because it's not telling you how to get rich. It's telling you how to think positive and manifest what you want.
I heard Rich Dad Poor Dad was real good though.
I got book, that too.
That book is like game changer. Like, man, like when I first started reading that, right, and it goes back to what you was asking about, parents, teaching financial literacy, right? I said, man, this everything my parents never told me, and it's not to their fault, right? There's a lot of information that wasn't made available, right? So that's one thing I understood is information is way more accessible. I'm talking about outside of books, right? Like information is way more accessible, right? So we able to, and you know what? First of all, God bless our parents, though. You feel me? Because really, though, every generation should do better. Right? Every generation should be able to take what was given to them, and make something better for the next generation, right? So I don't want to, I just want to acknowledge that, man. I love my parents, man. All y'all parents, shout out to all y'all parents. I salute the parents on this show. You know what I mean? God bless y'all. Y'all did the best of what y'all could do. And it's never too late to keep learning and growing. You know what I mean? But it's just, I'm honored to be amongst, people a little younger than me, right? That's reading the same books I'm reading, books I ain't even read yet. You know what I mean? So that's a blessing to see the work of y'all parents. You know what I mean? The work of y'all teachers, the work of y'all friends. You know what I mean? Basically being cultivated. You know what I mean? And growing. And I'm hearing Kaleem talk, and I didn't talk like that when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think like Devin. I didn't think like Nia. You know what I mean? I didn't think like y'all. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Yeah. Blessings, man.
I apologize to all the Bishop kids out there. I didn't do such a great job, okay? But I'm bringing it back full circle. I'm educating the community, the babies of the community. The Bishop is making sure y'all get this information, okay? I didn't do such a good job, but I'm here.
Bishop,
And
you
all I
did
gotta
good.
say is I'm proud of y'all. To see 2023 is gonna be great. I just saw black, young, vibrant young people with books in their hand. Don't tell me that the young people are not reading. Don't tell me that in 2023 our young folks aren't advancing. Okay, community, what you just saw was books from the young people. They reading some good stuff. They gonna be rich millionaires. Watch what I tell you, young folks taking over.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead, Adele.
Hold on. Because if y'all like me, I don't like to read, but I'm quick to, listen to an audiobook or something, a podcast. I just don't like to read.
Nah, I feel you on that. I didn't like to read for the longest, but I think sometimes you gotta find something that really interests your mind and what you want to read. Because I didn't start reading until I read a book. It was called the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and I feel like it was just it really grabbed my attention, and it really made me understand how powerful reading was and the type of information I can get out of it. And I think the biggest thing and something that I learned in real estate is the financial literacy, investing and stuff like this. This has been around for generations, years, decades, whatever. The biggest thing they teach in real estate is don't try and create no new method. Just copy and paste. A lot of this stuff is already founded, proven, right? You just got to copy and paste, read up on it, understand what they're doing, take it. You could tweak it to where it works for you, but at the end of the day, take the foundation of what they teaching and, make it work for yourself at the end of the day. You ain't got to try hard to create nothing new. Just, take it and make it work for yourself.
That's facts. Also, John, you said like being debt free. I actually just listened to a podcast last night. It was on YouTube, Rich and Unemployed. He be having people like, at first he was a scammer, but he out of jail now and like turned his life around or whatever. But now he be talking to people who have made it, and he had this white man on there, young white man, like 20 something, probably like your age, AR. But he was just like explaining how he grew up middle class, and he just took the opportunities that came his way. Like he used to work at a car wash. Somebody came through in a Benz. He like, oh, I like your car. What you do? He like, I sell mattresses. He like, let me get a job. Came in the next day, quit his job, started there, and then he just took the opportunities that came his way. Then he was cleaning yachts, and he was just watching the people who were on the yachts and what they did, and now he's rich.
Exactly. It's not about if you got the opportunity. It's about what you do with your opportunity that you got.
Yeah, and the knowledge you make.
Another good book right here. Investing in the real estate with no money down. A lot of people try and get rich quick and trying to find the most ways to invest without, using your own money. It's a lot of resources out there that, is offering up money into a lot of these things. And a lot of these, like even real estate or investing, there's a lot of benefits that come with owning these type of things. A lot of, tax write-offs, other things of that nature, a lot of grants and banking programs that's actually out here trying to help you buy, that's giving you money to purchase what you need to get in order to obtain that, generational wealth and things of that nature.
That's pretty dope. I like that. And there you go, community. You can listen to audiobooks, podcasts, different ways to get this information. Maybe you're not the best reader. Maybe you're not. All right. In other ways, 2023, we eliminate excuses. There's all kind of ways to find access to resources. If you want to change your paradigm, you could do it in 2023. I can see in 2023, that's my new thing. I'm trying to see what 2023 is going to be. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of things that's going to transpire in 2023. It's up to you to tap in and take control of your life. If you're not doing a vision board, if you haven't made a resolution, you got to figure out what you want to do. Find out what you like, something that you enjoy, and figure out how could you monetize? How can you turn this into a business? How could you make something off the things that you love? Because I don't think everything that you do that's work is always profitable, but the things that you love can be very profitable. And I think more and more community folks just got to tap into that. There's a lot of talented folks, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to succeed, you can't be tired, okay? You got to get up. You can't be lazy. You're going to have to be like the bishop sometimes to get 2 hours of sleep. Sometimes you got to stay up all night and grind while everybody else is asleep. It ain't going to be easy. In our community, we got to stop telling everybody that success is easy. It is a job. It is a transformation. Everybody see what you're doing, and they're like, oh, I can do that. It's not that easy. It takes work. It takes grind. And it takes a little bit of a little as they say, because it's going to be things that's going to come your way. And I tell all the young people in the community, when I'm mentoring them, working with our young folks that's locked up, they see these videos, they see everything, and they try to picture this as reality. But we don't show them all of the steps and what people had to go through to get there. And I think that's the disservice of social media. All we see is the finish line. We see the bands of money at our ear. We see the cars. We see the glory. But we don't get to see the struggles, the pains, the cries, when things didn't go right, the losses. And I think on our day-to-day lives, if we can include that into the process, I think we could get more and more of our community and folks to turn that chapter and start moving forward. You got to see the struggle, okay? It's just like here. You got to see the things that go on. It ain't always sweet. But when you get down to the finish line, you know what I mean? It's a blessing. It's a great thing. And there's a lot of people that are grinding to make this happen. So in 2023, you're going to have to put in some grind. You're going to have some fight in you. And you can't have no quit. Everything ain't going to be shrimp and grits. You're going to get some bad gravy sometimes. You're going to get over-seasoned food. And sometimes it ain't going to be all the way done. But what you do with it is what's going to make the best out of it, man. So this New Year's resolution and this conversation about what we need to do to make our goals is very important. And, Nia, I want to hear from you because you talked about, this year you're working on networking and communicating with more and more people and stepping out. What does that look like to you? Because it might be somebody out there that's listening that's maybe struggling. Maybe they're introverted. Maybe they're trying to be an extrovert, or maybe they're just trying to connect. What are some of the measures and things that you're doing? Because maybe somebody's out there listening. They're trying to figure out how to connect and be more open in 2023.
Well, let me just go ahead and add reading to the list because I do want to start reading a little bit more. And just because I want to expand my vocabulary as well. And not to mention, Colleen got us a Barnes & Noble's gift card for White Elephant. And you know what? I appreciate you for that. I didn't take it, but I appreciate you for that. But just for, like, Devin got it. You got it right now. You're funny. But just what it looks like to me is, since I'm in college, it might be a little bit easier for me to just explore, get out of my comfort zone. So for me, I know I'm going to go on campus more and out my room less, just and talk to people, not be scared, to go up to people. If I see somebody who has like a higher status than me, not be scared to ask them questions, and just get myself out there more.
Closed mouths don't get fed at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you asked an important question, though, and I was going to ask it a little earlier, but it was about how to measure your goals and what type of methods do we use to measure our goals to make sure we reach them. And one of an example is a SMART goal, and the S stands for specific, the M is measurable, the A is attainable, the R is relevant, and the T is time-based. So that's just one of the metrics that you can use. You can use a snowball effect, which is starting with the small goals and until you reach the big ones. And I also was on TikTok, and this lady was talking about the 12-week year, where she basically put a goal for, she divided it up like every month basically, and she accomplished that goal. So I just think it's important to have a method or game plan how you about to reach your goals for this new year or new life, whatever it is for you.
Yeah, that's true. Like, sometimes it's easier to hit those little small goals than it is to hit that one big goal. Because if you're hitting those little small goals, it's going to ultimately lead you to that big goal.
I was going to say the same thing. So I might try that. Get, set a time frame for myself maybe first, and see if I can attain it, and then just grow, get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I want to join a couple clubs on campus and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say y'all should start up a little both sides of the conversation book club, right? Get some other people, because I know it's some young people that's in the house, okay? They're afraid because of the communities they live in, right? And I really want to see more virtual book clubs. Seriously. No, I want to see more virtual book club, because we do have young people who parents sometimes don't let them go out because of the community they live in. But again, reading is very important. I think knowledge and sharing it with other people, because again, how do you find other people that's interested in the same things that you are? So I want to see how we can start a youth a book club so we could get some of our high school students and some of the other folks. Y'all pick a book a month, read it, and y'all have a meeting, and maybe we can figure out how we can get some funding to support that for y'all. But I think that's a book club is very important because I think the more people you could put into a space that are reading the same things and have the same questions, I think it's a faster way for us to elevate information. So I think a book club is something y'all should think about putting together for y'all youth team and see how y'all could get young people across this country, not just in the Bay Area, but across the country to join y'all book club and find books that y'all pick a month, give them a month to read the book, and then y'all set up a meeting and have a conversation, right? I think that's another way to elevate our young people faster. But I'm going to work on mine and being mean. I'm going to start off this year saying no and being mean every week. I just told somebody no, trying to call me in the middle of my show. No. So I'm starting to work on it. Small little pieces. Every week I'm going to check in and see how many no's that I say and how many times I can be mean. Okay. I'm going to be mean this year, 2020.
John, you could say no without being mean. You don't gotta be mean to these people out here.
Another thing I think is how we should start, well, not necessarily us because I don't have no kids, but how we should start off the new year is teach y'all children, for the parents out here, and for us too, for our friends and stuff, teach them that it's more than what they are. For those who didn't go to school or those in San Francisco, like it's more than just San Francisco. Invite them on a trip, take them to an event that's somewhere else, not just a vacation, but go somewhere else. Like being in school for me, I go places now. Like I go see Devin, but I don't just go see him and just do like touristy stuff. Like I go see him and do school related stuff. Like I go to the events and stuff. I'll go to Miami Boys, which is like Miami artists come from Miami and they go down to Tallahassee and it's a weekend full of parties and a concert. Like it's just more out here than just what we're surrounded by. And it kind of opened my eyes. And I be telling my friends at home now, and I'll be inviting some of them. Yeah, like Kaleem. Kaleem didn't go to college, but he came to Atlanta for homecoming. And it's cool though to see like our friends that don't get to see like what we see every day experience a college life or something outside of what they know.
Nah, that was definitely an eye opener. I'm happy I went down to that trip, just trying to get my college experience through my friends and, going to different places and seeing the culture in different areas. Because, we always talk about how great our Bay Area culture is, but other states probably have the same, idea of how their culture is. So you just got to figure out, like you said, what else is out there. Expand your mind.
Now, I think that's important that y'all said that. I mean, that's one of the things that I continue to fight here in the Bay Area in San Francisco is, because right now, our college students, our high school students that are doing well, they get an opportunity to go on these college tours. I'm like, how do we get some of the brothers on the corner? How do we get some of the kids that's not making it? Give them an opportunity to get out of this Bay Area and go look at something. Because I believe traveling is a great inspiration to young folks, especially people that are struggling, don't know which way they want to go. You take these kids down to New Orleans, you see all the young hustlers on the street playing music on Bourbon Street. You take them to Atlanta, you take them across the country, and it's like, man, it just opens that eye, like it's opportunities, and they get an opportunity to see Black folks in different spaces. And it's a lot of Black cities that are doing phenomenally well that we don't talk about enough. And I think it's just time that we get more of our young people exposure. And I think hopefully they write more grants, more opportunities for exposure for high-risk youth and youth in our community, because I think the exposure, Deja, is what's missing in some of our urban communities.
We'll be the same people in 5 years, except there's a saying, right? I ain't say this. I start off like I just had this. Let me keep it real. I ain't say this. But it's like we'll be the same people in 5 years, except the books we read, the people we talk to, and the places we go, right? So, I mean, y'all saying, what I mean? Like, you stay, like, who's this Kingdom Fitness 13? Yes, exposure needed for a new mindset. Exactly. If all you see is it's like this. If all your partners, right, are just staying in one place, y'all gonna all think the same. So your conversations are gonna consist of the same topics, right? But when you go to college, or when you talk to that coworker, or when you come to Sunday conversation, right, you're gonna hear different things. You're gonna hear different ideas, and it's gonna open your mind up to different ideas. And the world is so much bigger than anything we could learn from the couch than anything that we can experience, in our neighborhoods, anything our parents could have gave us, Yeah.
Right. Sorry, you done? No. Oh, but Tony, let me just say, The Coldest Winter Ever was like one of the best books, and I'm not gonna lie, like that might be the only book I read outside of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. But The Coldest Winter Ever really, like, Sister Soldier, shout out to her, because those books I'll read. It make me want to read more.
Man, Coldest Winter Ever was a cold, but I read that book. I think I read most of Sister Soldier's books, actually. Them books was crazy. That was entertaining. Them books was crazy. Yeah. Okay.
We're going to get you to read that manual and change that battery in that firearm, Deja.
Because everybody I be on the phone with hears it. I don't hear it. Like, I just don't hear it. I would call me.
I know I'm always messing with my youth. We're going to get her a manual, change the battery. Somebody help her. Devin, help her out. Get the smoke detector changed, okay? We definitely have to improve, our education methods. I mean, I know sometimes in our community, because of the lack of information in our education, and it's so sad because I hear young people are so disconnected with our education system, not only here in San Francisco but across this country. Our school systems are failing young Black children. And I think reading is just something fundamental, and I'm just encouraging a lot of our young parents out there to continue to read to your youth. I know we have YouTube and all this different stuff, but we got to disengage our young people with some of this electronics and get them into reading books. That's very fundamental, and we have to do more, because our schools they just not living up to where they need to be for our young people. They're not culturally appropriate. The education methods and tools are just not on point. So, in 2023, there's a lot of conversations about how do we build up Black economic education systems, whether it's weekend education. How do we give our young people advantage in other cultures? Young people are going to school 6 days a week. Is that something that we need to put into our Black community? It's a lot of conversation about this education thing. I'm not so excited about the curriculum and about the materials that's going out to our young people and how they learn. So I think we definitely, as a community, in 2023, is really going to have to look at how do we invest in our Black community with education and making sure that our young children get access to the right education materials, and how do we bring them up to the speed about Black history and where we're going in the future. I mean, I know we got to learn a lot about Black history, but I'm gonna say it again. In 2023, we know a lot about our Black history. We got to know about Black future. And what you all are talking about today is the elevation of our Black future. When we talk about finances, when we talk about, home ownership, when we talk about real estate, when we talk about Black entrepreneurship, I mean, these are the conversations that we really got to invoke in our community. And we're going to do our part here at Both Sides of the Conversation with our youth team to continue to engage with community organizations to really figure out how do we bring that Black future forward, because I think so many conversations that we're having about Black history, what took place, why, what happened, why are we the way we are, and we're not having enough conversations of where we're going, how we're going to advance, how we're going to work together, and how we're going to uplift our community. And that's one of the main focuses of 2023 that I want to continue to highlight. All right, how do we support our Black businesses, all the Black businesses owners out there? Okay, we have a platform for you. We want our community to know where you at so we can support you. If you're an author, if you're a bookstore owner, if you're a restaurant owner, whatever you do, and you're Black and brown in our community, come on, so that we can get other folks in our community to support us and support you, so that we continue to build this Black ecosystem in our community. That's the only way we're going to change this. If I see Black businesses, Black folks doing things, I'm going to feel like my experience or my opportunity is greater. We need our young people to see the Black business owners, the Black restaurants, the Black authors, the Black teachers, the Black lawyers. I need y'all to nominate these folks so that our community can see that there is a hope. Like Colleen has said earlier, we have to see it for whatever reason, the Black community, we just don't believe it until we see it. And I think the more folks that we can encounter, engage, and bring those people to the forefront so that they're not hidden, so our community have access to get to them, their products, to help involve our community. I think that's what we're going to have to keep doing. It's going to be a small step to get there, but I think we could do it in 2023. We're going to take our part as leaders of the community to continue to invest in our community, continue to support our Black dollars and our community to uplift them, because that's the only way we can succeed. We have to have sustainability. And thank you, Colleen, for saying ownership. I am looking for Black folks in 2023. Get out the lease, get out the rental. Let's start earning something so that we can keep our communities. This gentrification is happening because we don't own anything. We need Black businesses that actually own the brick and mortar, own the location. And I'm going to stay steadfast in this. And this is why I haven't made any quick jumps into getting into a studio, because I don't want to lease. I don't want to own. I know people come to me, John, you got to take baby steps. That's the problem. We have to own it. If these folks who say they want to invest in us, these philanthropists, these Fortune 500 companies that have all the money, they always want to talk about how they want to help Black folks. But when it comes to ownership, you don't hear a peep out of their mouth. They want to see you have stuff, but they don't want you to own stuff. So I'm encouraging all the philanthropists, all the founders, all the billionaires, the 1%ers that are invested in our community. Make sure that your investment is for ownership so that Black folks in America can have sustainability. We can't do anything without sustainability, all right? And that's what I want to see. So all the folks out there talking about how they want to help, how they want to bring inclusion and diversity and all this equity to our community. Let's talk about ownership. That's the first conversation in 2023. I want to hear all folks that's outside of our community that want to invest in us. I want to hear those numbers. How much are you investing in Black ownership? I don't want to just see you say, hey, we're giving Black folks a space to do business. I want ownership, all right? So all these investors and all these folks who quote unquote are in line with Black folks. Let's be in line on ownership, all right? Because we can't have anything if we don't have ownership, and we have to have that type of exposure in our community so that our young Black babies can walk to a Black-owned ice cream shop. They can walk to a Black-owned bookstore. They can walk to a Black-owned insurance policy place. They can walk into a Black-owned everything that we need in our community. Until we have that, we have no equity, we have no inclusion, and we have no diversity. What we have is a lot of performative organizations, performative folks who are talking about what they want to do to support us, and that performative stuff does nothing for my people. If you want to make change, you want to be a part of the impact, make sure that you invest in ownership of Black folks. Then we can have a real conversation. Until then, the fight continues. All right, y'all, we got 15 minutes to go. And y'all know it's that time where we have to give our daily giveaways. I see Tony out there online, but she's not here, so I guess she's not gonna make it today. We don't get to hear from Tony, but we'll get her back. She has a lot of amazing things going on for the New Year's, and we continue to uplift and support all of our both sides of the conversation team who are doing things to continue to impact the community. It's just not me, community. Y'all just see my little ugly bald head face, okay? But it's some real amazing folks, okay, behind the scenes on this both sides of the conversation team who love the community, who are invested in making change in our community, and they're about uplifting our community. So again, we want to always shout out those amazing folks because they give up a lot of their time and their ideals to help impact our community. So, we just want to also uplift them and these amazing youth here. Okay, when we talk about invest, we need to invest in our youth. And we have youth who are phenomenal in doing things to change the narrative. Community, get behind our youth team, support them and their goals and their visions and their missions, because they are some young, powerful people. They're going to be the change maker. They're going to be the movers and shakers of the future. Young Colleen, you will see him on a billboard near you one day, selling multiple investment properties. See, we're going to claim it in 2023. This show is not about how to set your goal. It's also about how to elevate and make sure that we speak it into existence. When we talk about vision board, it's putting it in motion. The young brother's reading. He's doing his part. Community, let's make sure we do our part, invest in our young people so that their goals can become realities and we build that generational wealth, and we put our young folks in position to move the next generation of young Black leaders forward. That's what we're going to continue to do here at both sides of the conversation. Shout out to my guy, Nate Ford, SF Rebel. Shout out to Uncle Steak, Collective Impact. When you talk about impact, there are brothers in the community that's impacting our community. Shout out to the Dreamkeeper Initiative that continues to move our communities forward. Shout out to all the Black organizations that just keep it biggity Black, and we all on it. You know what I mean? Happy Kwanzaa to the people. But with that being said, young people, the time is coming to the end. You still have to hear from the bishop before we leave today. But it's you all time to give parting words to the community. Tell them about the New Year goals. Tell them how you're going to step into yours and give them some goal setting opportunities and information for them in the future. We're going to start with you, Brother Kaleem, and we're going to work our way around. Go ahead and give your parting words to the community before we end today's segment.
I think the only words I have to say is just, spread love in the community. Spread love and spread, more of collaboration within our community.
Definitely very powerful stuff. Miss Deja.
I just want to say thank you to our guest, Kaleem, for coming on today, and then AR, to you as well for filling in as co-host. I think we should also teach like high schoolers and stuff about loans, because some people's families can't afford school. School not for everybody, but for those that do want to like try, they should know how to be able to pay for it without the help of their families. But besides that, yeah, y'all, it's a new year. Happy New Year. I'm gonna try to eat healthier. I'm doing a little salad diet right now, starting tonight. But yeah, thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Deja. Always stepping up for our youth team. Brother Devin, one of the coolest youth members of both sides of the conversation. What's up, King?
What's up? I wanted to give something for the elderly. I want to see us in this new year. Let's change what's cool and positive, because sometimes school and what we look at isn't always positive, and school isn't always the right route for everybody as well. So let's change what we let's keep school in there. Don't get me wrong, but let's also give those other options to those who don't want to go to school. And then I just wanted to drop a gem from my book that I was reading about saving your money. So this is what I'm doing this year. I'm putting 10% to what I call splurge. That's for myself. That's for me to spend on whatever I want to spend on. 10% into your long-term savings, 10% into your education account, 50% into your necessities, not your wants, your necessities, and then 10% into what you're going to give back. So, yeah. Happy New Year, y'all.
No slurricane juice for you, brother. No slurricanes. Keep Devin out of the slurricane line, okay? All right. Miss Nia, go ahead and give the community something today.
I just want to say thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you to our guest, Kaleem. Thank you to our co-hosts and our host. Just this goes for everybody. Just have those deeper conversations. They help. Some people need somebody to talk to. They don't want to get professional help for whatever reason. So just check on your peoples. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
And thank you, Nia. Just want to say we acknowledge your growth of stepping out over this last year and in 2023. You just stepping out in courage. You're very talented. You got a great perspective. And we just happy to have you on our youth team, because, again, the youth are the future, and each one of you all are stepping into your greatness every day. And you all are going to be very impactful to the community. So thank you all, the youth. But AR, go ahead, good brother, before the bishop give the benediction.
All right, Bishop.
Hey.
I just want to acknowledge how grateful I am to be on the show today. Hearing from all of y'all, it's really nice, man. Shout out to everybody who tuned in and was watching, and blessings to y'all. Hope y'all have a great week coming up here. Well, I guess what I want to leave is just kind of going back to the original conversation about goals, right? Is I think it's great to have New Year's resolutions. It's great to have goals, right? It's great to be a planner. But the thing that it comes in between, what we set out to do and actually accomplishing that is who we become in the process, right? It's making those personal changes, those mental changes, those mental and emotional, financial changes that's gonna put us in position to succeed. But it's also, I want to end with Colleen. It's thinking of others, right? It's what Bishop was saying. It's winning together, right? So in the process of becoming, a success in the way that we see success, it's looking outward and seeing how we can be a blessing to other people. That's it. Blessings to you. Have a good week.
Man, definitely AR to the youth team. Thank you for those phenomenal words. I'm only working on being meaner and saying no this year. So please don't blame it on the COVID. Okay. I know I'm in the house with COVID, but I'm coming out strong and better. And every day that I'm in here, I keep hearing the words no, just say no, just say no. So I'm learning to say no. I'm gonna be a little meaner in 2023 because sometimes you have to be a little rough and tough in the community. Sometimes you have to be outside the thinking minds and you have to just show love in a different way. I've been too nice. 2023, I'm going to be a little mean in 2023, all right? There's a lot more no's coming from the bishop, all right? But we do have to end today's show, and I will give the benediction. I just want everybody to know we do have our second annual bowling event coming up February the 18th, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. You don't want to miss this one. All right, it's going to be some major money we're going to be giving out at this event. We got our team from all across the country coming in to support this event. To all of our sponsors who haven't returned my phone call yet, where you at? Okay, we need our sponsorship. All right, so we're calling on all of our sponsors. We bringing it 2023 right. You heard the youth. You have to have action. You have to have love and compassion. And we need our sponsors because, again, our sponsors is what makes all these great things happen for the community. This is a family event. All of the great family members, all of the fathers, all of the queens, bring the kids. We're going to have a great time at our bowling event. So, with that being said, the bishop will give his 2023 benediction to the people before we close out today, because every show, y'all don't know. Some of y'all listen, what are y'all talking about? John Henry, the bishop? What is this? See, I've been known. I've taken that name from my team. They call me the bishop because they say I'm always preaching. I'm always doing things that people in the pulpit are doing, but I'm not in the pulpit. My pulpit is with the people. Where you see me at, I'm with the people out in the community. So with that being said, every great bishop that's behind the pulpit has to give an analysis, has to give a wrap up of today before they let the people go. But when we let you go, we're not asking for no plates. We're not asking for no donations. All we want you to do is understand that we love you. So the bishop is going to give his 2023 party way. I think Deja left already to put the batteries in her smoke detector. Y'all see how good God is. All right. With that being said, today was very important, community. You heard from our young people, the most young, brilliant minds of our community. So many times the elders of the community ask the young people, John, what do the young people think? What are they doing to make change and impact in our community? And I always say the young people, they are working, they are building, they are trying to change a new leaf in our community. They are working to be better, to be more in tune and working with the community. We saw the young people this past year at the Prosperity Bag giveaway. The young people help bag the food up. The young people help bless the elders and bring the food to their doorstep. Our young people are active, are both sides of the conversation. Youth do a lot to impact our community. Don't think for 1 second, these young people don't think about the community and what the needs are of the community. They started off this year with this show, ways to achieve our goals and exceed, because this year it's about abundance. It's about exceeding, doing more than what we've been doing. And it starts with setting down some kind of blueprint, some kind of understanding of where we want to be. Maybe yours is a vision board. Maybe you need to see it through pictures, through information. Maybe yours is listening through podcasts. Maybe yours is just doing whatever it is. Make sure that you are excelling this year in 2023. Look for new opportunities. Look for ways to advance yourself so that you can advance the community. Because as you do better, the community does better. All we have to do is continue to have conversation. You heard the youth today talk about more solidarity. They talked about more engagement with the community. You heard it's all about showing love, finding out how to bring reciprocity to our community. We are talking about elevating a community of folks who have been disfranchised, who've been through some things. We're talking about empowering them through information, through education, and making sure that resources get to them for this year. If you are starting this year off with a plan, stick to it. Find an accountability partner. As you heard Devin say, find somebody that will hold you accountable to the goals, to the vision that you put for your life. Because if you change, the people change. I always tell the young people, to change, you have to change people, places, and things. That's the true change. You can't do the same things you used to do. You can't go to the places you used to go. And you have to be willing to grow and go and learn from other folks. Y'all heard from Nia. She talked about being vulnerable, being open to meeting new people, new ideals. What about you out there on your list for 2023? How are you going to connect with more people in the community? Maybe you've been isolated. Maybe you haven't spoke up enough in 2023. Maybe this is the year that you come to the table with something. Maybe this year, your voice is heard more than others, and your change is about pushing the action forward to uplift our community. The youth started this year out. We will end with the youth. Nothing happens without the youth. The seeds that are being planted are for the youth, the young minds that are growing today that you see, the young, phenomenal folk that you heard speak. My brother, AR, coming back with balance, with love, with information. He is the face of young folks who are moving. Nia is the face of young folks that are moving. Brother Colleen and Devin and Deja are the faces of the young generation that is moving forward. They are reading. They are succeeding. They are believing in what they're putting forward. They are holding each other accountable, and they are uplifting each other so that they can exceed their goals in 2023. What about you? Community, the village. We have to have a conversation. The things that are going on in our community can no longer go on. The issues that we are seeing in our community, we cannot continue to let happen. The murder, the robbery, the hate that is going on in our community, we cannot let it happen no more. The way we have to do it is we all have to get involved. We have to invest in each other. We have to uplift Black businesses so our young teenage boys and girls don't have to go to a store to rob, so they don't have to go in our community and take. We have to make sure that they have available resources. It is our job as the elders to put our young people in prime position so that they don't have to make discretionary decisions because they're going through something. Our money is tight and they're putting risk on the line and doing things that impact our community negatively. So I'm holding all of our community organizations, our leaders, our elected officials, do your part. The celebration is over now. It is time to get to work. Let's figure out collectively, how do we impact the youth in our community? How do we impact the elders? How do we move our community forward? It's going to take us all. We can't just do it. You can't do it. But collectively, we can make a greater impact in this Bay Area, in the San Francisco city and county, and across this country if we all work well. Tonight has been a great show. Our youth has spoken up. They have set the goals. We will hold them accountable. They will hold me accountable, I'm sure. But moving forward in 2023, there's a new day. There's a new opportunity. I see growth in our community. I see ownership in our community. I see financial preparedness in our community. I see movement in the Black community. It's up to you. Do you want to be a part of the narrative change? Do you want to be a part of the gains of our community? Or do you want to stand in neutral and continue to observe and say, what I did for this year? It is only so many opportunities that we have in this time on this earth. Continue to be great. Continue to invest in our young people. They are the future. I love my people, and I will continue to uplift and make sure that the narrative is being shifted about the very young people in our community that you see. We all could do it. Let's continue to work. In 2023, we have another week in this new year. Let's make Black Friday every Friday for our community. Let's make Black Friday something that is real, something that is transparently, and let's make sure that all of our Black businesses in our community receive our Black dollars. Let's take a stop first. And let's take a look and see what Black business we can support. If it's something you're going to buy, let's not go to Amazon. Let's not go to Walmart. Let's first see if there's somebody Black that provides those services and let's circulate our black dollars in 2023. More power with the dollar. When we keep it in our community, I'm going to do my part to continue to invest my dollars with my black and brown communities first. And we're going to see how that changes throughout the movement of our communities. Leadership is about demonstrating what's possible. The young people have spoken up today. The demonstration of their leadership, what they're doing to achieve their goals, and they're reading their books. Community, what are you going to do? Do your part. Uplift our youth. With that being said, that is the benediction from the bishop. Thank you all for tuning in today. For all of you that are new, maybe this is your first time tuning into both sides of the conversation. Our next live show will be this Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., we have a segment called Hidden Gems, where we highlight our black and brown businesses, our community leaders, and these young folks and people that are doing positive things to impact our community. If that is you, you're a business owner, maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you're somebody that's doing something that's impacting our community positively, make sure you get them signed up for our Hidden Gem segment, and make sure that you get them on our show so we can know where our black businesses are. Young Kaleem is coming up, y'all. When you get to where you need to go, let's make sure we buy some houses from this brother. All right, shout out to Rhea Cotton, to Cotton Realty. If anybody's looking for realtor folks here in the Bay Area, Rhea is doing an amazing job connecting our black folks. So make sure y'all reach out to Cotton Realty and some of the other realtor firms that are here in the Bay Area. Shout out to Khalid. Y'all see him putting it up there. We'll make sure we support you. That's what it's all about. Young investors, young black folks, changing what's going on in our community. Very, very important. Every Thursday, community, for y'all that just tuning in, that's new, every Thursday we have a segment called Educational Thursday. We are bumping the time up this year in 2023. It'll be starting at 7 p.m. as well to give our team some time. And again, it's all about educating our community, and that's what we do with that segment. We get our different community folks to come on and do a PowerPoint presentation to educate our community. So like these young folks said, you can learn about financial literacy. You can learn about home ownership. You can learn about mental health and things of that nature, because we're going to continue to bring the folks who want to come educate our people, give us the sauce and information that is needed. And then every Sunday, we're going to have our Sunday conversation from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. as we will continue to talk about the taboo stigma conversations in our community, talk about the things that impact it. We're going to be talking about the 6-year-old who shot his teacher. We're going to talk about the mother who took the lives of her young children. We're going to talk about the youngsters who killed the security guard in Japantown. We're going to talk about some of the real issues that impact our community. There is a conversation that is needed to be had with the village, as they say. It takes a village to raise the youth, but we also need a village to change the community. And now is the time in 2023. We're going to have a conversation with the village. We're going to talk about what's going on and how we're going to fix it. Young and old, get ready. We're going to bridge the gap between the young and old this year in 2023. And we're going to find out ways that we're going to help impact our community. We're going to do our part here at both sides of the conversation. COVID can only hold me down for so long, community. I know y'all been asking, when is the bishop coming back? I'll be back real soon, but I'm being a leader right now. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, isolated myself from the rest of you so you don't catch the COVID. But be safe out there. Wear a mask again tonight here in the Bay Area. Our next storm is rolling in. Young people, elders, watch out for your young people. Check around your houses. There's some flash floods that's going to be taking place. Make sure that our elders and folks in your families who have medicine, that y'all have a backup plan if you do lose power, so that our young folks and people in our community that need those type of medications can still have them and they are staying healthy. With that being said, we love y'all. Good night now from the bishop. We'll see y'all on Tuesday. Have a great evening. Thank you, young people. Thank you, A.R. Kaleem. Much success to you, young brother Nia. Much success to you, Deja, and the rest of y'all, Devin and Kendall. Much success in 2023, and the bishop will be holding all you accountable on your goals for 2023. Love y'all and see y'all. All power to the people, y'all.